So me and my wife watched Star Trek Picard the other day. We really, well, it's kind of spoilers, but we really enjoyed it. The thing that interested me most was when I went on the internet. I felt like I shouldn't have enjoyed it. I feel like I'm one of those bad people who like find enjoyment in
topical bad film
or other films that I think are appalling. But it turns out I think I'm one of them. The thing with me and my wife especially is that we really aren't Trekkies. Like, I've never ever watched Star Trek. I watched the Star Trek, whichever one the version is, which Picard was in, like maybe it would just come on TV, and if so, then I'd watch it. As far as like knowing what Star Trek's about, I'm not really a fan, and I hear people rave about it. It's just not something that I've ever had an interest in. That was until J.J. Abrams' reboot of Star Wars. Now, okay. Yeah, that was until J.J. Abrams' reboot of Star Trek. I felt like, well, for me, when Star Trek came out, I think it must have been like, what was it, 2010? No, it can't have been. What are we, 20 now? So 10 years ago. I'm 28. Yeah, when I was 18. No, it probably was more. I bet it was like 2008, something like that. Maybe it was 2008, 2006 or whatever. But I watched that with my friends when I was a teenager. And for me, the J.J. Abrams reboot was excellent. Like, it was one of my favourite films of all time. And I could still sing the soundtrack to the J.J. Abrams reboot. I loved it so much. No, wait, that's Star Wars. I can hear Chris, whatever he's called, Thor, dying in the background. Don't leave me, Chris. Have a baby. Anyway, for me, the reboot was great. Now, unbeknownst to me, I was a teenager. I didn't understand. The second one was fine. The third one was a bit pants for me. Like, the pacing was all off for the third Star Trek. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Picard. But my point is that I enjoyed those films, and it turns out that I think enjoying those films is also a bad thing. It kind of makes sense that I enjoyed Picard, because I don't think if you're a Trekkie, it makes any sense. I'll run through a brief synopsis, but A, I can't remember it properly, and B, you could just watch the thing if you wanted to actually know what went on with it. But the main points were, so Picard's an old man, obviously. I think he's in his like late 70s. He looks pretty good for late 70s, doesn't he? I think he looked great. I mean, you can tell with the running scenes and stuff that he is a little bit frail. He lives with, is it Romulans? I'm going to say Romulans, or maybe it's Klingons. I think it's Romulans. Anyway, he lives with these two people. He's on like a nice futuristic farm with robot watering cans. It's all wonderful. And he's having these dreams about data. The dream part for me and my wife was quite interesting, because there's this whole element of he's seeing data a lot, and it seems like he's obviously quite burdened with how things ended with Starfleet. But the way that they set it out makes it seem like Picard and Data were really close. Yeah, and the issue is that when you look into it, it seems like they weren't that close. Like, it seems like Picard almost tolerated Data. It doesn't seem like that's what the relationship is. So if you're a Trekkie, that's an issue. If you're not a Trekkie, then it's just new characters as far as I'm concerned. And these characters in my head, in my little headcanon, isn't true. Like, it doesn't exist. But in my headcanon, it's like, well, that's what they are. They're best friends for life. So I'm just going to believe that. That's going to help me get through the series, I think. Anyway, so Picard's having these dreams about Data. What does happen next? Oh, yes. So he has this interview with some TV woman. And she's talking about how the Romulans, who are a notorious enemy of Starfleet or whatever, I don't know anything about that. But she's talking about how the Romulans, their planet was going to be destroyed by the sun in their solar system. Like maybe someone intentionally has made this star start to blow up or whatever. But they obviously knew about it, and it was very short notice. And in that case, Starfleet decided to help, even though people didn't want help because they were kind of like, didn't like the Romulans or whatever. So they ended up helping anyway, but in doing so, these synthetics, which were basically Data, like these like robot people, ended up having an opportunity to kill maybe like thousands of people. So, and then Picard left Starfleet at that point. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten a lot of the details of that part, but the woman got a rise out of Picard in the interview, and I thought it was pretty good. Like the tension of it, and the kind of like the unraveling of this story about why he's upset and alone, and well, he's not alone, is he? He's got these Romulan peeps, but you know why he's on this farm alone. I thought it was pretty good overall. I thought it was gripping enough. I think the thing is with me and my wife especially is we love Lost. So if you think about the kind of storytelling that Lost does, where it's all about the mystery box, as people like to kind of meme about it nowadays. But the idea was that if you have a really good mystery, then it can kind of hook you in. And for me, that was something that got me with Picard. It is an interesting, well, there's a mystery. Whether it's interesting or not is subjective, isn't it? This woman's on a date with a guy, presumably a boyfriend or whatever, and then all of a sudden these like alien ninjas come out of nowhere and like stab her boyfriend in the heart, and then she has all these ninja powers. She fights them off and stuff. I don't know why they put a bag over her head. I think it was to put her to sleep, but then like surely there's like a million other ways to put someone to sleep when you're from like the future. And putting a bag over the head seems like the worst possible one. So maybe there was something inside the bag or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so she puts a bag on her head, and then she does all the cool ninja stuff and then kills all the baddies. But then she sees this interview that Picard's in. She goes to find Picard, and then Picard's like, "I've seen your face." And then and then there's all this stuff about Data ended up, painting a picture about her, and then. Yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good. I think the issues were like some of the dialogue was a little bit meh for me, especially the end bit where they're on like a Romulan ship of some sort, like maybe like an evacuation ship. Yeah, so he's called Narek. So the way this Narek guy comes up and talks.
3 hours later.
Yeah, overall, I'd say give it a watch. I think the thing is, if you're a Star Trek fan, it looks like it's the worst possible thing to watch. Now, here are the flaws that I've heard about it. Picard's not really like his character in the series, people have said, which, okay, fair enough. I don't know what they say, I don't know anything about this. Picard's and Data's relationship is like whimsical and wonderful, when apparently in the series, he basically tolerated Data for as much as it seems. The science seems a bit wonky, but I mean it's science fiction, so if you're looking for hard scientific facts, then I don't think you're going to find it in science fiction anyway. The science behind like the fact that this sun was going to explode for the Romulans is a little bit like, well, they should have probably had thousands of years to prepare for it and evacuate themselves, but anyway, you have to kind of suspend belief for that one. Also, like the fact that Data has children, and in the series apparently Data has like made other synthetics before, and Picard's been like disgusted by it or whatever. But in this series, Picard's like, "I'm never going to leave you again," or whatever. He basically just adopts the children there and then. So that's a little bit wonky as well. So overall, though, if you're not a Trekkie though, you completely forget those flaws. I thought it was a pretty good hook in the sense that you want to know who the girls are, and you want to know why they were made, and there's a lot of stuff in it that makes you think, okay, yeah, I'd be interested in seeing where that goes. I've got a feeling though that it's probably going to end up being a bit pants. It feels like a pilot episode that was really well thought out for the most part, and I don't have high hopes that it's going to last the whole series, but I could be wrong. I mean, the quality, the budget, there's obviously been a decent budget for it because it looks superb. Like the way it's filmed and the colour and the CGI was just like, yeah, this is like basically a film that's been cut into like however many 6 episodes, or I don't know how many episodes there are going to be. Maybe it's like 12 episodes. It just looks like a film to me. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'd say watch it. I mean, it's only like 50 minutes, or is it, or an hour or whatever. You can watch an hour TV show, see what you think. I've spoiled basically everything in it now, so still might be worth it. I've not really spoiled much. It's the first episode, isn't it? So anything could happen from here. Yeah, looking forward to the other one, to the second one. Yeah, it's coming out on Friday in England. I don't know what that is in the US or anything, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. Bye. Engage.